Hey, Glory Bell Church, family and friends, I'm sitting right here in a miracle. Of course, we call it Glory Bell Coffee, but it's so much more than that. I want to tell you how we got to where we are and invite you in to help us move the ball forward as a church. So a little over 2 years ago, God was stirring our hearts. In fact, He put a phrase in our hearts, occupy territory. We didn't know exactly what that meant, but we acted on that word and went to our landlords and said, hey, would you give us an opportunity to open a coffee shop in our lobby? They said, yeah, we'll let you do that. I said, secondly, in the space right next to us, not sure if you know this, but they're hosting burlesque shows, drag shows, and they were calling it family-friendly drag shows. That space I'm talking about is where I'm sitting at right now. At the time, it was occupied by another tenant, while our landlords didn't know that was happening. And then I said, thirdly, we're 3 years in on a lease, but at the end of 5 years, which is where we are right now, I said, would you give us an opportunity to buy the building? And they said, well, we'll get back with you. Little did we know that in a matter of days, a city councilwoman would organize another family-friendly drag show right here in this space. Well, we said, hey, not on our watch. We're not going to let the giant of our day taunt the church of the living God. So we held a night of worship with free childcare an hour before their event. We prayed for that city councilwoman. God showed up. We declared that Jesus is the God of this city. And it was amazing because they canceled their drag show. The city councilwoman resigned, and the landlords came to us and said, hey, we'll sell you the building, but if you want to buy it, you got to buy it right now. And man, we said, there is a yes in our heart and a gap in our finances. And they said, well, we'll work with you. And y'all, for the last 2.5 years, we have been trotting and plugging and sowing and believing, stepping out in faith. And we've got $380,000 down in an effort to buy this building for $5.4 million. But can I just tell you, it's not a coffee shop. It's a vessel for God's miraculous. It's a vessel so that people like Fabian, who didn't go to church, didn't know God, came into the coffee shop to study, heard about the church, walked in on a Sunday morning, encountered the love of Jesus Christ in a matter of months, would get baptized, and 2 weeks ago, he served for the first time at our community serve day. His life has forever been changed. Fabian is just one of dozens of people that have been impacted because of this effort. I want to invite you to help us move from just occupying territory to taking the land. How can you do that? Number one, pray with us. Pray that God would send supernatural provision. Okay? Pray that God would provide more than enough to complete the God project. When you pray Exodus 36 and 7. Secondly, would you prayerfully consider giving to this effort? Let's move from renting to owning, from occupying to taking the land, and we need your help to do that. We got to move from $380,000 to a minimum of $810,000 down. That's a $430,000 gap. You can help us close that. Thirdly, the way you can do it, pray, give, or consider investing. What I mean by the investing, one of the local banks here in Waco, TFNB, has agreed that if we can get to 15% down, they'll open up a loan with us. Now, we're believing for more than that, so we don't have to get a loan, but until that happens, let's get it in our name. Just by moving from renting to owning, that will save us more than $100,000 in property taxes. But the investing part is unique because you can put money into a CD at TFNB and draw interest on your money, and that money will serve as a collateral, essentially, and as down payment for the church. And so if you've got $100,000 in a retirement fund or a savings account somewhere, you put that in a CD at TFNB, you earn the fair market interest value on that money. It accounts as a partial down payment for us, and we can get this into our name. We want to encourage you. Our best days as a church are still right in front of us. We believe that this is the year that we take the land. Thank you for praying with us, giving, and investing. I leave you with this. There is always in God's kingdom an eternal return on investment.